acid metal thing. Yes.
No taste.
David, what is this?
Pretty thick.
Brain break.
I have to kill a lot of people. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I have big tits and a tiny vagina.
Oil me up, Daddy.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers big tits.
Mistletoe alert. This is backcountry.
This guy was a real jerk.
How long can Ugo be pregnant?
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Oh, I'm just such a dick, David.
Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Ew.
Hoodie Picasso.
Horror!
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I'm Sydney Lee, your creepy hostess with the mostest, and with me are Bryce Hanson, professor of lore and horror, and Max Allen, doctor of spooky wookie. We're back to our roots and better than ever, exclusively reviewing horror movies. New theatrical releases always get priority, but we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Full video available on YouTube. Share this podcast with your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, her dog, her dog's aunt, her dog's aunt's cousin, anyone who can listen. Give them a link and a speaker. Also, check out patreon.com/horrormovietalk, the equivalent of the adult section at your video rental store. If you want to add your P to the community pool,
Should we
go to
thank our patrons
horrormovietalk.com or
that are
call
new?
682-253-4468 and leave us a voicemail. We love to hear from you. So we've got a great show today. We'll be reviewing VHS. We'll start out by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. Later, we'll be doing a kind of variation on taglines, but I'm doing match the tagline to the movie. So, horror movie taglines, and I'm going to give you the tagline, and you're going to have to tell me what movie it's from. Which, by looking at horror movie taglines, they could literally be about any movie. Like, they're very non-specific, so I think it'll be kind of hard.
I'm excited.
So VHS can be found on Hulu, Peacock, Tubi, and a bunch of other places. It's free on a lot of places. But yeah, so let's get into it.
Sorry, I think you might have cut out. We were gonna thank our new patrons.
Oh.
So.
Wow, did I cut all of this out? Oops.
No, you were talking, but I think you were frozen on our screen, so it was silent, and we were like, let's thank the patrons, and you were just like, kept going. So.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Awesome. Okay, let's do that.
So yeah, Kristen G, Tori, and Nisquana all became a member, as well as Sherry V. So thank you everyone that's been joining. It really helps us out, like more than you realize. Like it's we want to get back up to 100 patrons, 100 active members. We were there before, and we're trying to rebuild.
And Bryce needs this to become his full-time job, or he's gonna have a meltdown soon. So.
My children need wine. Okay.
Oh, and don't forget Roybot and Megan, too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Roybot.
Okay, let's move on. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah,
No, I can't believe I didn't hear you.
Terrible movie.
Shut up, Max. Okay. All right. The synopsis of VHS. 4 petty criminals who film their violent crimes are strapped for cash, so they find a job to break into a creepy old house and steal a mysterious VHS tape. Get it? Like the movie title? Once they're inside, they slowly realize that this excursion might not be worth the money, as there is a dead man waiting for them in front of a wall of TVs and about 100 tapes to go through. As they watch them, we see the tapes from their point of view and get to see what scares are in store every step of the way. So my review of VHS. So VHS is a 2012 film with 9 directors, the most notable being Ty West of X and Pearl, David Bruckner, The Ritual, The Night House, Adam Wingard, You're Next, Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillet, who co-directed Ready or Not and the 2022 Scream. There's a few more too. But this gaggle of directors come together to launch their careers through 5 different tapes plus the main backdrop storyline to create a classic anthology film that sparked a franchise. This movie is included in the mumble-gore movement of the late aughts and early tens, and perhaps is the most famous to come out of the genre. I've seen this film no less than 6 times, and while I rewatched it for this episode, I realized that I knew it so well that I probably didn't have to watch it again to recount it beat by beat and give it a score. To me, this is a modern horror classic. I really enjoy this movie. I love how it switches from a slow burn creep out to a ghost story to a slasher and so on. I think it's a great movie to get you into horror. It's a great movie to revisit. I think it's a great movie, period. I'm thoroughly entertained through every part of it, and even though not every tape is my favorite, I think all of it is very effective as a scary movie, and I love the ambiguous ending. To quote my boyfriend when I told him what movie we were reviewing this week, "Oh, so it's a true Sid classic." It might be nostalgia, it might be the genotype, but whatever it is, I really love this movie, and I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So what say you, people?
Oh, a 9 out of 10 for this piece of garbage? I can't believe that.
Jesus.
I mean, first of all, I hate anthology movies. I think I've never thought they were interesting. They never give enough time to any plot for them to be good. But this one is especially bad. This is, I think, my 3rd time watching this movie. The first time I watched it, and I thought it was dumb, but I gave it I was thinking it's like a 4 out of 10, I guess, at that point. And then I heard that the second one had some good ones, so I went in to watch the second VHS. But the whole time I'm thinking, this movie's familiar. Have I seen the second VHS? No, it was just the first one again. I accidentally watched the first one again. And I was so mad when I learned that. And then I watched it last night. And wow, it just gets worse every time I watch it.
Oh my
the
God.
Acting is horrible. The characters are terrible people that I don't care if they live or die. There's no time to, in the few parts that are good, I think that the last 2 are pretty good, but there's just no time for it to fill out and actually be something. It's just a nothing. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Wow. Big discrepancy. What do you say, Bryce?
Yeah, it's I guess. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of anthologies either. I think I don't know, what we've reviewed Trick or Treat and Creepshow. I think out of these 3, I'd probably choose Creepshow just from the aesthetic and the kind of wackiness of it. It was a lot more fun. I think there's some leeway you need to give to shorts because you're not going to have a lot of time for character development. It has to be a little more on the nose with the dialogue to just set up the stuff. There's got to be a lot of just very, very obvious exposition at the very beginning.
See, I don't agree with that because I've seen amazing shorts.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. The writing was pretty cringy. The acting's not great. It is a little too on the nose. There were some good ones in here, and I think the ones that stand out are the ones where the directors and writers have gone on to have good careers. So the first one and the what was it? And the last one are kind of the standouts to me. So there's Amateur Night. That's the one with the 3 friends who rented the hotel room. And then the last one with the haunted house and ritual.
10/31/98. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I did like the last one. I liked the last one.
Last one is my favorite. Out of all of them.
So that one, that last one was written and directed by Radio Silence, which is a collective of a couple different directors. There's Matt Bettinelli-Olpin, Tyler Gillet, Justin Martinez, and Chad Villela. So they've all kind of gone on and made some good stuff. I think they were involved in the Scream remakes.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the review.
Yeah, and the Night House, and they've done some other ones together. Oh, and Ready or Not. So, I mean, they've made some bangers.
Yeah.
And a couple of these just kind of fall flat, which is kind of what happens in an anthology movie. But it wasn't terrible, wasn't great. I'd give it a 4 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, it's funny because I have been, to the listeners who don't know, I've been asking to do this movie for like weeks, and I'm honestly glad that I was the one that took charge of this episode because I like it so much. So whoever is listening that really likes this movie, and whoever will like sympathize with me, and whoever's listening that hates this movie will sympathize with you guys. So
yeah, I can't believe this is considered a classic or like a staple, because it's I don't know. I've already said what I think about it, so
I mean, I guess like I don't know if it's actually considered a classic. I think that it is because I've watched it so many times.
I feel like I've heard about it enough and people talk about it enough to be considered a classic. I mean, it's not very old.
Well,
Is there like amount of years?
It's got a bunch of sequels. It's a franchise at this point. So
yeah, there's like 5 of them, and like people are saying that the newer ones. I think one came out last year. It was like VHS 84 or something, or like VHS Viral. I don't know. I've only seen the first 2, and I don't even remember the second one. So, but I've heard that like the newer sequels are really good. I don't know. I'm not a big sequel person. Anyways, I kind of
like 4 of them, and I think all of the ones I've seen I liked more than this one.
Wow. Okay, so maybe I need to check them out, because if I like this one so much, then I'll probably love the newer ones.
Did the other ones actually like stay consistent with the premise?
Well, I feel like it dives deeper
on VHS.
No,
that was one of the things that bothered me. Was like half of these films are digital. Like half of these films are. There's one that's like a Zoom call. I'm like, that's not. Why? You'd have to like bend over backwards to get that on a VHS tape. Anyways.
Well, in VHS Viral, it turns into like a internet thing at the end. So.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
Spoilers for VHS Viral. If you didn't guess from the name of the movie, internet is involved.
All right. Well, if you are listening to these commercials, you shouldn't have to. Because if you go to patreon.com/horrormovietalk, you can get ad-free episodes right when we edit them, usually before they release to the public. We have all the afterpods, which is basically a completely separate podcast where we talk about whatever. We have bonus content. Max has written a story that he's posted. You should go check that out. But yeah, the Patreon, even at $2 a month, will be great in supporting us. If you start at $5 a month, you'll start getting all the bonus content, and it goes up from there. But, we would love to have you over there. It's a fun little community that we got going on, and we want more of you to join us. And we also have the HMT shop where you guys can get all your merch, comfy sweatshirts, comfy t-shirts. You can support us, stickers, whatever you might want to get. Go check that out on our website. Also, you got to check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans. So just let him know that we sent you. You can contact him on Instagram at dgoebel00, which is DGOEBEL00. And you can make your artistic dreams come true. Also, again, our voicemail line is 682-253-4468. So leave us a voicemail, talk to us, and you could be on one of our episodes. So thanks again for listening. Let's get into spoilers. right. Let's start off with what our favorite tape was and what our least favorite tape was. So you guys go first.
I think the last one was probably the strongest. But I don't know. The first one was a real close contender. Actually, you know what? No, I actually like, even with its flaws, I think I like the first one better. The one with the ones that rented the hotel room and were trying to get laid.
That is so shocking to me.
With the demon.
I hate that one.
That one's like, I just like the premise more. Like the demon, creepy girl. Like that's, I don't know. I just like that premise more. And like the ending of that is probably the funnest part of the movie. But yeah, in terms of like content and like writing and acting, that one's probably one of the most cringy ones. But I don't know, it worked for me. I think my least favorite was, I don't know, the third one, the one in the woods, seemed a little lazy. It was
yes.
like, all right.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
I agree with that. The worst one is the one in the woods, and I think it's the acting that does it for me. Like, every actor in that one is horrible. Just absolutely really terrible. So, and the lines were goofy, and the premise didn't really do anything for me. It was like a bad version of The Invisible Man.
Oh, fuck, not the woods. Nothing good ever happens in the woods.
I'm trying to find, it reminded me of Wrong Turn, like that kind of acting. It's a little too obvious. It felt very like 90s for some reason.
Yeah. My favorite was definitely the last one. I think what did it for me was just the group of guys. I think that they did a great job of portraying what like a normal friend group of dudes is like. I feel like a lot of movies kind of lean too hard into like dudes like pranking each other and like calling each other names and like being kind of mean. But these guys just seemed like they were like goofy dudes hanging out and having a great time, and I felt like I could actually relate to that, and so for that reason I liked the last one.
Yeah, I agree with you, Max. Yeah, the last one is my favorite for those reasons, and also just like them going to the wrong house and then just thinking it's a haunted house because it's Halloween is like really, it's like scary, but it's also funny, and you can tell like the cameraman is like kind of realizing slowly more than the other people that it's not what it seems. But yeah, also, I mean, I agree with both of you. The third one, the acting's terrible. I think like the main girl, Wendy, is just like so annoying. She's like, you guys are gonna die in here, and then it's just so over the top. It really reminded me, which I like this movie, but it reminded me of The House of Wax with Paris Hilton. Like when they go to the woods. I love that movie. I think it's great. And like the acting's definitely better in that movie, but it like the premise kind of reminded me of it, just like them being in the woods and like not knowing what's going on and like, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, that one is the weakest. It's like it could have been cool, like a guy who can't be filmed or like killed seemingly is like a cool premise, but like the way that they set it up, it was just, I feel like that was something that could be explored in like a full film, and I think that that's what the constraint was. And also like get better actors. Is it supposed to be so goofy? Like, I don't know.
Well, it's funny, the actors in the last segment were actually the directors, so that was the, what do they call themselves, the silent
radio silence.
So yeah, so that was Chad Villela, Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillet. Like, all those guys are also the directors, so they work together all the time, so there probably are just an actual friend group.
Yeah.
Probably comes off as
and that makes
genuine.
sense. I mean, it's surprising that the directors somehow were better actors than the actors in this movie, but...
yeah. But yeah, so basically, if someone hasn't seen this movie, the premise of it is that, like, it starts with someone taping over their sex tape to film them chasing a woman in a parking lot and pulling her shirt up to reveal her boobs.
Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say,
down.
you know, when you said this is a good introduction to horror, I'd have to disagree because I invited my 11-year-old daughter to watch this with me, sight unseen, and the first like shot is
You did not.
a sexual assault. I'm like, all right, maybe not, honey. Maybe you should go to bed.
Oh, had you not seen this?
I had not seen it at all, so I was
shit.
Bryce,
oh
yeah,
you
it's
let
like
your
an
daughter watch
anthology.
VHS
Only the first scene with the
where a
sexual
woman
assault.
gets sexually assaulted and her shirt is lifted up.
I mean,
yeah.
the rest of the movie, like, besides, like, the first tape, I would say is, like, appropriate for, like...
No way.
Not really. There's
Every
a ton
single-
of sexual
Every
content.
single
There is a
male
lot of
character
boobs.
in this movie is, like, so horny all the time and will do whatever it takes to
There's a
get
lot
a
of-
girl
yeah.
naked on camera. Every single character, and it's so annoying. Why is that a theme through every single video? It's like, why are these guys so obsessed with it? It's more. They talk about that more than any horror actually goes on in this movie.
Yeah, so let's see. The first one is very obvious because, well, okay, so the overall main story has, like, the sexual assault and then the taped over sex tape. The first tape is about getting laid.
Yeah, they have these, like, glasses that have a camera in them, and they give it to, like, seemingly the nerdiest, most awkward of their friend group, and they're like, you're gonna get laid tonight, and you're gonna film it. He seems pretty reluctant, but then he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And
so I'm trying to go through them and see how many of them have just, like, a strong sexual element.
Yeah, that one, definitely, there is, like, basically...
that's the main story.
There's sexual assault in that one, too.
Yeah. Yeah. The second honeymoon is what the second tape is called, and that's about the married couple and the guy's trying to convince her to do a sex tape. So there's another one.
Yep.
The Tuesday the 17th, which is the third tape, is they go into the woods, and that's all about getting laid.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Well, and the guy
wants to
keeps
get
asking
laid.
to borrow the camera so he can follow the other chick around.
Right.
Yep.
And then the fourth one is called The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger. She shows her tits in that one. And
Two girls show their tits in that one.
Two girls show their tits. And then the last one is probably the least sexual one. Was there anything sexual in the last one?
No,
Not
I don't
at all.
think so, which I actually found very refreshing.
So, yeah, it's a very strong... It was not a good film to invite my daughter to, so...
I think that I watched this by myself for the first time, and then I told my dad that it was good, and I think I watched it with him, or it could have been the other way around. I mean, this came out when I was 13. I didn't watch it that year, even though I had already watched horror movies, but I mean, it's funny because, like, since I've talked about it before, shout out my dad, we watch horror movies together all the time. We have for like 12 years, but like there are a lot of horror movies where he's like, oh, I want to watch this movie with you. I haven't seen it yet. It looks really good. And then, like, there's gonna be a sex scene somewhere. So it's just been a constant thing with, like, me and him watching movies where it'll just happen, and then we'll just be like, so how was your day? Like, during it. But now, obviously, it's you know, I'm an adult, so it's a little bit easier. But yeah, when I was younger,
as an
it
adult,
was so
I would never
uncomfortable.
sit down next to my parents and watch a movie with a sex scene. Never in my life.
Really? I've watched a lot of movies with my dad that it's like, I mean, obviously it's not something I want to happen, but like it happens when you watch horror movies, so at this point I'm just kind of desensitized to it.
Yeah, I watch it with my mom, and I'm like, that's not how I would do it. You know? Max, like, we were both grew up Mormon. How strict were your parents on rated R movies?
Pretty strict, and I remember when I was like really young, like before I like 10 and under, my parents would watch rated R movies, and we had them in the house. And then all of a sudden, a switch flipped, and they like made a big deal about how they're throwing away all their rated R movies and they're done with them. And my mom would be like, whenever I would ask to watch a rated R movie, she'd be like, you know, some of my favorite movies were rated R, but we just made a decision that we're not going to do that anymore, so I don't think you should. And I would anyways, but I'd have to be sneaky about it.
Yeah, my parents were pretty lax on rated R movies. Like, it was one of those differentiators with our family, because, yeah, it's a weird thing in the culture where it's like, you don't watch rated R movies, even though that's not specifically what's said.
I think that's becoming less and less of a thing, though. It was really strong for a while.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think I remember, like, I was trying to track down, like, what the first rated R movie I saw was, and I remember it as Red Heat. And then I looked up when Red Heat came out, and it was 1988. So I would have been like 6.
Whoa.
I feel like I remember seeing it in the theater, though, is the thing.
There's no way.
So, but I'm pretty sure, like, there was like a time where maybe it wasn't Red Heat, but I'm almost guarantee it was Red Heat, where my dad's like, yeah, we're going to go see a rated R movie. Does anyone want to go? Or does anyone want to see this with us? And I was like, I'll go. And it's just an action movie. It's a Schwarzenegger action movie. It's like a buddy cop movie with Schwarzenegger and what's his name? Jim Belushi. Yeah. And so yeah, it was like a part of my life, but it was always like, as long as it's just violence, you know, it's not that bad. If there's sex in it, I'm like, no, you shouldn't be watching sex. So every time I'd watch a movie that I like, it was uncanny. My parents would walk in during the sex scene, you know. Be like,
it always has to happen like that.
Yeah. Like, even on TV, they had like this sixth sense of like, is there sex happening right now? Like, or is there sex going to happen in the next like 5 seconds? I better walk into this room. And like, yeah, it's mortifying every time it happens, because you're enjoying what you're watching, and you're like, please don't say anything. And inevitably, like, my dad would be like, are you sure you should be watching this? I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that's a classic. Are you sure that this is up to your standards?
My dick is saying yes, Dad.
See, yeah. When I was obviously the first rated R movie I watched was Saw, when my dad showed it to me, but at that same time, my mom, like, at my mom's house, she didn't want me watching stuff that was like rated R. Like, obviously she couldn't control what my dad did, but she put I had a TV in my room when I was in 6th grade. I got it, and my mom put parental controls on it. Like, you know, anything above like PG-13 was locked with a passcode. It was a 4-digit passcode. So I was like, I wanted to watch Jersey Shore in 6th grade, and it was locked. And I was like, I wonder what the passcode is. I guessed her birthday, and it was right. And so it was about 2 days that lasted with me having parental controls, until I was like, why don't I just try October 10th? So it was,
and
like,
then you were ruined forever. Hey, I think my dad's birthday is October 10th.
Really? Oh my god.
I think so.
Maybe
I don't know for sure. I mean, who knows?
Switched at birth. Okay, but yeah, so this movie is very raunchy in a bad way, because every guy is trying to force a girl to do something against her will. Like, the underlying tape being taped over is like a hidden camera sex tape where she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you recording? Then we have the sexual assault in the beginning, but like, it also sets up that these guys are just pieces of shit. They're like wrecking an abandoned house, and then they're like, I don't know, it's kind of like, the dialogue is kind of like, you can't really understand it very much, but basically they get like hired, which was in the synopsis on like IMDb. They get hired to steal this VHS tape from this house that's like gonna make them a lot of money for some reason, and they get to the house, and it's like there's nothing in the house except for one room with a dead guy, ? And like 10 TVs, all with static on them. And there's a bunch of tapes, and they're like, the tape's not here, the tape's not here. So they say, you stay, there's 4 of them, they're like, you stay in this room and watch the tapes, and we're going to go in the basement. So a couple guys go in the basement and look around, and they find more tapes down there. But then, like, the first tape starts, and it's a guy with glasses. They go with recorded glasses. They go out drinking, and they're trying to, like, pick up girls. So the guy with the glasses picks up a girl who's, like, really creepy at the bar. She has big bug eyes, and she's just whispering, like, I like you. And he's like, okay, whatever, man. Cool, let's go home together. And then another guy picks up a girl, but one of the guys doesn't. So they go back, and the guy not with the bug-eyed girl is like hooking up with that girl. She ends up passing out, and he's still trying to get her clothes off. And then he gets really mad when the other guy on the couch is like, she's passed out, dude, like, you gotta stop. And he's like, oh my god. So he, like, steals the bug-eyed girl, and then they try to have, like, a threesome, but then the guy with the glasses, like, freaks out because it's weird. And then...
Well, technically, I think they're trying to get a foursome going on, which, you know...
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
What?
Say what you're gonna say. Say it.
No, that's all right. It's like, it would be difficult, but it is possible. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it would have to be a little gay.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, stuff would touch.
That's homophobic, but whatever.
Yeah.
But it would have to be, and they, like, I mean, they were gonna fuck in the same room with one of their friends just watching them, so I guess they don't really care. Maybe they are a little gay. I'm not homophobic. So the girl, the bug-eyed girl...
Yeah, that's the one part that's the least believable, is, like, the guy sitting on the couch just laughing and having a good time watching his friends, like, fuck these 2 other girls. It's like, you know what? I'd probably just excuse myself out. Like, that's... Oh. Do you want to be the creepiest friend? You know? It's
yes.
Like...
It's hard to be the creepiest friend when they're also creepy.
You know, it's weird because he's the creepiest friend because he's sitting there and gonna watch it, but also he's the wokest because he stopped the sexual assault. You know, he's a good guy. He's a good guy
almost
that likes
did
to
his
watch.
own sexual assault, so it wasn't. You know, it was all for naught.
Yeah,
he didn't do sexual assault.
She was saying she didn't. No, she wasn't game for him.
Oh.
She wasn't game for the guy on the couch.
She kept pointing at him and being like, no.
Oh, that's right.
No means
You're
no,
right.
Bryce.
Yeah, and then he strips down anyways and walks over, and then that's when the guy with the camera goes in the bathroom and is like, oh, fuck, this is too much. And then he just, like, then the naked guy runs in, and he's like, she bit my fucking hand! And then they go back out, and she's, like, eating the first guy's, like, chest. And she's kind of transforming into this kind of... I thought she was kind of like an amphibious monster. Like, I mean, when they originally took off her clothes, her feet were, like, webbed. And the guy with the glasses is like, whoa, dude, chill out. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of any of that.
So eventually she kills 2 of them. The guy with the glasses escapes, but he falls down the stairs and breaks his arm, which then he can't get up from the ground because he breaks his arm. Yeah,
he broke his wrist. He can't walk with a broken wrist.
It was crazy. And then he does kind of escape. He's like trying to get people to help him, and they're like, you're crazy, stop it. And then the end is her grabbing him and flying off with him just in the air, which was unexpected. But
so I thought she was supposed to be a vampire, but in the Wikipedia it says she's a succubus.
Okay.
Well, in the trivia for IMDb, it says the demonic woman Lily is based on the female demon Lilith from ancient mythology. Lily seems to have talon-like feet. Seen in a winged humanoid. Lily resembles the female winged demon or goddess depicted in the Bernie relief. I don't know what that is. Let's look at the Bernie relief. This thing.
My question is, what was wrong with that woman though? Like, she was so weird.
Well, I think technically she has the genetic disease. It's called like the Anya Taylor-Joy disease syndrome.
Jesus.
Just
I
you
wasn't
got real
talking about
big
her
eyes.
looks, but okay.
She's got real big eyes.
I was talking about the way she's seems a little neurodivergent, but that seems intentional.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the traits of Anya Taylor-Joy syndrome.
Yeah, I think she was just like
spectrum. It's a spectrum. The Anya Taylor-Joy syndrome is a spectrum. You know, Emma Stone has a little touch of it. She's touched, but
I love her.
She's touched.
Yeah, I think it's just because she was like not a human, so she didn't know how to like socialize. But it's interesting that she would just be like at a bar, like I don't know. There were a lot.
I mean, it's kind of implied that like, you know, she actually does like the guy in the glasses, and then she doesn't like the other two guys, and so she kills them.
Right.
So is it like, if everything went the way she wanted, would she just had a pleasant night with that guy and not eaten him?
I think she was gonna fly off with him anyways. I think that was her end goal because she wanted to like keep him forever. So
right.
I feel like that's. But it was funny because she was like, "I like you," and after he like breaks his arm and is scared for his life, she tries to suck his dick, and then she's like, "You don't like me because he won't get hard." She gets really upset. It's really funny.
A big element of this short too is like I think she ripped all their dicks off, or the other two guys' dicks off.
Dick and balls.
Dick and balls, which is a feat. But you know, when you got claws, anything's possible. So that's the first one. That one was actually called Amateur Night.
Which I like that name.
Can we go back real quick to the beginning when they're like the first group of guys, the criminals, are like breaking stuff in the house?
Sure.
Yeah, so that one's called Tape 56. That's what the main story is.
Okay. How old do you think those guys are?
I would say late 20s, early 30s.
It's just like I could see my friends in high school being like, "Hey, we found this abandoned house. We should totally go break stuff in it." And I would be like, "You know what? That sounds kind of fun."
Right.
But
yes.
In my 20s or 30s, if a friend asked me to go smash windows in an abandoned house, I'd be like, "Get a job, my guy." What are you talking about? I think like the cutoff
would be like 23.
Yeah.
That's like if you're like on drugs and homeless, like maybe you'd still be doing that.
I never really
turning a couple tricks and you know, making some jackass videos for you know, to sell on the black market for $50 a pop.
Also, there's like 5 of them, so what, are they getting $10 for every time they absolutely destroy a woman? Like, what?
Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I never really even looked up what they were doing. I just thought they were like petty criminals who filmed them. But yeah, they do, like, they do post these videos online and like get money from them. I'm assuming like something like YouTube. I'm not sure if it would be YouTube because they would get arrested, but like they are selling them in some way, and so that's why they record everything. So I guess this has been their job, is committing crimes that people want to watch, which is cool.
So cool. I've seen TikToks just like that, actually. I've seen those ones where it's like, today we're committing crime, and then he literally just films himself stealing.
Yeah, I'm like, girl, you're gonna get caught.
Or it's just the ones where it's like the extreme pranks, and they're like just literally stealing something from someone. Like, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank.
I hate those. I think that people who do that are really stupid and awful towards other people. And I like when they do pranks on people, and then the people they're pranking beat the fucking shit out of them. Like, I'm like, that's what you deserve. Like, you shouldn't be like pretending to kidnap someone. Like, that's not cool. But these guys aren't pretending. They're so excited to break into a house. And I think if I was in their position and I saw a dead guy in a house where I'm trying to find something, I would probably leave. But it doesn't deter them at all.
It doesn't sound like they did their due diligence either, because I don't know if they checked for a pulse. They're just like, oh, he's dead. Because he's obviously not, because he disappears out of the chair and kills all of them.
So after the first tape, we cut back to the main storyline, and the guy who was watching the tapes is gone. The dead guy's still there, and then we get another camera POV where two of the guys are exploring the basement. They find more tapes, and they're like, it's mad creepy in here. And then the guy, like, turns the camera around, and there's just, like, some naked guy walking around. And he's like, yo, did you see that? And the other guy's like, you're fucking crazy. Just get these tapes in a crate, and let's get a move on. And then we... Yeah,
I feel like the least interesting part of, like, anthology series is, like, the overarching stories. It's like, oh yeah, it's just tacked on, or like everyone knows, no one cares what happens to these people.
See, I think that's like, it's true for some movies, but it's like in this movie I do like how ambiguous and weird the storyline is, because these people deserve to disappear. Like, they are bad people, so it's like, well, it's good for setting the tone. It's good for setting, like, it's a pretty gritty, you know, like, it's about sex and violence in this in this movie. Like, it's pretty explicit about that.
Well, I can see how some people could, like, feel some sort of, like, you know, enjoyment or, like, joy of watching these, like, terrible guys get their comeuppance, but to me it just kind of, like, undercuts the horror of the story, because it's like, if I don't care what happens to these guys, it really, there's nothing that could happen that's gonna shock or scare me, because I don't care. I can't put myself in their shoes because they're terrible. So I don't know, maybe there's a way to do that right. I just don't think this was the right way.
I can see that point. I understand that, because it's like, you don't care what happens to them because they suck, but, like, also, I don't know, I think it's just interesting how nothing is explained, and I don't know if the movies, like the sequels, go on to explain any of that. I'm assuming they don't, which would also be cool. I really want to watch the sequels now that we're talking about this, because I think I've seen this movie enough times. But, okay, so tape 2, which you said was Newlyweds or something.
This is Second Honeymoon.
Second Honeymoon.
So I thought it was a boyfriend and girlfriend, but it makes sense that they're together. They're a couple. They're on a road trip. I thought that this one was boring. Like, I thought, like, it was really slow. This was the one that was directed by Ty West, which makes sense. He does, like, a slow burn, but his feature-length films are good. Like, this is, like, I don't care about all of their, like, road trip side missions. Like, I don't care that they go to, like, the Grand Canyon. I don't care that they're, like, looking at cowboy boots. Like, I think there was a lot of, like, unnecessary detail in this, and I guess it was trying to prove, like, that they're not, like, happy together or something, but that didn't really... I don't know.
Like, it's the main thing is... well, here's the one thing that did work for me, which was the POV shot of the camera, where you realize, like, oh, this isn't being shot by either one of them. This is just someone that intruded into their hotel room and is, like, just threatening them with a knife, and that is really creepy. That's a great idea.
Oh, 100%.
It's just, and the fact that, like, what makes it creepy, it is kind of wrapped in the boring shots of their vacation, where it's like, oh shit, they don't even realize, because they didn't watch back the tape, you know, to see that had happened.
Because why would you? You don't expect that the camera's going to be on at night. Like,
I kind of don't hate this one. I think that if it had more time, if it was like a full-length movie, it probably could have fleshed out some of the ideas and actually gone somewhere. I do agree that it's a little boring, because nothing really happens until the very end, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. But I enjoyed actually the building of the relationship. We got to see a lot between the husband and wife, and a lot of the things that the wife said reminded me of my wife, because
you better
she's
hope
like
not.
she's like petting what was the animal they were petting at the beginning?
A donkey?
Like a horse or something?
A mule?
A mule. And the guy's like, "You're gonna wash your hands after that, right?" And she is like joking about how like, "Nope, I'm gonna eat and then wash my hands after." And my wife just loves petting animals, and we went to a petting zoo, and she just kept being like, "So you're not gonna pet them?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to touch these animals. They're disgusting." But she's just loving on them. I don't know. Just reminded me of my wife a little bit there.
Well, that's sweet, but also, hopefully, this doesn't happen to you. I mean, that one line is funny. But, yeah, so basically, this one is, like, they're on a road trip, and then a girl, like, knocks on their door and wants a ride somewhere, and she's just, like, pacing through the parking lot, and you don't see the interaction, which I think is more effective. When she knocks on the door, and then they just recount the interaction. I thought it was weird they didn't want to sleep in the same bed. She was like totally fine. He was like, "Do you want to sleep in the bed with me?" And she was like, "No." It's like, okay.
See, that's just a married couple, though. You know, honestly, after a certain amount of time, you're like, you know what? I would like not having someone kicking my back in the middle of the night.
You know,
like,
that's what I've
just
heard.
For one goddamn night. Like, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's all right. No, I'm fine in my own bed. Not having someone steal my covers and put their cold ass feet on my leg.
It's funny because me and my boyfriend are long distance, so anytime that we visit each other, I'm like, we need to like be attached at the hip, and like when we sleep in the same bed, like we are not. Like, we have to be touching each other. It's like so funny, but maybe at one point we will hate that. Can't wait. But yeah, so then it's the nighttime and the camera turns on and you think it's one of them, and then it films both of them sleeping. I don't know about you guys, but if a light that bright shined in my face while I was sleeping, I would open my eyes 100%.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a little much, but you know, it works.
It does work. And then this person like runs a knife over the woman's body, doesn't cut her or anything, puts his toothbrush in the toilet and steals his money. And I love the cut to the morning where he's brushing his teeth. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. They think he checks his wallet and he's like, "Did you take my money?" And she's like, "Why would I do that?" And they kind of get in a little fight over it because obviously, like, who else would have taken the money? They don't know what's going on. And then they plan out the rest of their trip, all this stuff, and then again, it's the nighttime, the camera turns on and immediately stabs the guy in the neck and kills him, which is effective and shocking. And then there's like quick cuts to like driving, and then it's like juxtaposed with them still in the room, and then you see two girls making out, and you realize at the end that this is the wife's lover, and they had this extravagant plot to kill the guy, and at the end the wife goes, "Did you erase all of that?" And it's, girl, obviously she didn't, because we're watching it right now.
I did feel like
she's gonna
that
get $50 for that, you know.
Yeah, $50 bucks.
You got it.
Okay, so
really
this
felt like
is
it
one of
came
my
out of
beefs.
nowhere.
Yeah, it did. It felt pretty arbitrary. Here's one of my beefs with this whole movie, is that it's called VHS, and they're supposed to be watching these tapes on VHS, and I think out of the 5 quote unquote tapes, only one of them, no, 2 of them even tried to look analog. Like,
yeah, the last one and the third one, I think.
Yeah, so like Amateur Night was on a like glasses, so obviously not VHS. The second honeymoon was also obviously digital to me.
Well, you can put anything on a VHS. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but why would you do that though? Like, why would you?
I don't know why you would do that.
Take a digital video and like run it over to VHS tape.
Yeah. I did notice that this time around watching it because I never really watched it with a critical eye until like we're reviewing it. So then when the first tape came on, I was like, oh my god, he's recording on glasses. There's no way that would transfer to a fucking VHS tape. That would plug into your computer. And it's 2012, and some of these were shot before then. I mean, we don't get a date on any of them except for the 1998 one, which would make sense if that was on VHS. But yeah, the rest of them, you're assuming that it was like in the 2000s. So you're like, well, like you wouldn't have digital glasses in like the 90s. So why would you convert that? Yeah, it is not something I noticed until this watching, and I was like, ugh. It's kind of like.
Do they still have those? Do they still have those places where you can like take VHS tapes to be converted to digital?
I think so. I think you can take them. For a while, you were able to take them to Costco. I don't know if you can still do that or not.
What if you took a bunch of Blu-rays to Costco, and you were like, "I would like to turn these into VHS tapes"?
I feel like that'd be hard. I feel like it's easier to do it the other way around. Really hard. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you can do it at Costco. CostcoDVD.com.
Hell yeah.
Convert your videotapes and film reels to digital format.
It's good to know.
But you know, this movie wouldn't work if it was called DVD. Like, you know, it has to be the VHS.
I don't think it works called VHS, honestly.
Okay. Fair.
All right, let's rock it through these next two because they're boring, and then we can get to the last one, which is actually interesting.
So first, they cut back to the house, obviously after the tape, and the dead guy is gone, and also the other guy who was watching the tapes is gone. So now two of the guys are gone. The dead guy is not in his chair, and they're obviously still looking for the tapes, and they haven't really realized that two of their friends are gone yet. Well, I guess they have. One of them goes in and puts in another tape, which is, this was another gripe I had that I didn't really notice, is that every time another guy goes in, he doesn't watch the tape that his friend was watching. He puts in a new one, which, but whatever. So yeah, the next one sucks. It's all of our least favorite. It's a bunch of... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a slasher in the woods, and it's titled Tuesday the 17th, which is
weird,
pretty obvious, since it's
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, and then 5 days later.
I think it's kind of a good name. It's kind of it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So I mean, it's your generic slasher. The only thing that's kind of new is the girl kind of leading them into the woods, and we find out has some kind of ulterior motive, and towards the end of the tape, she's like, there's murders that happen in the woods, and she was there and escaped, and like she brought her friends here as a plot to use them as bait, and then the killer appears and kills them all, and he appears as like a glitch in the videotape.
She's like, why can't I film you?
Yeah. Which is like, does that mean she can see him? Or...
That's what I was confused about.
Yeah, because it was confusing whether she could see the killer without the video or not. But either way, on the video, it's just like this glitched, shadowy figure, which is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
It's just executed in a very boring way, which is like... And he just shows up and kills them. It's like, okay.
Something that I really hated about this one was that, like, halfway through, the killer kills a couple people and blood gets on the camera. But instead of doing, like, a super simple practical effect where they actually put something covering the camera, they put this stupid digital overlay of blood on the screen, and it's there for the rest of the short, and it looks so stupid. It doesn't look real at all, and it's covering like a third of the screen.
Well, my favorite part is like, yeah, there's a splash of blood on the camera, and then it shows the girl going back to the guy that's getting out of the pond, and he just doesn't make any mention of a blood splattered camera.
Yeah, like, and it's his camera. They set that up, so it's like he would definitely be like, "What'd you get on the camera?" and then be like, "Is that blood?" But he dies pretty soon. Well, I guess he doesn't, but he gets his throat slit, and then he's like walking around after, which is like, okay, I guess that was just for a scare because he falls down and dies. But yeah, it's pretty, like, you think the girl's evil, but she is kind of for setting her friends as bait, but yeah, she ends up dying. This one has the most gore, so if you're like looking for gore, like this is where most of it is, like vivid gore, because there's like a lot of intestines and shit. But yeah, it's really not super effective because of how bad the acting is. If the acting was better and like it wasn't just like, look at your tits, I want to fuck you, I bet your dick is 2 inches, it's like cool dialogue, man. Who wrote this? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it's not very good. The premise would have been better if the writing and the setup was better, but she's like, I'm gonna take you guys to a lake, and it's like a literal like pond that looks murky and disgusting, like you would get a parasite from it. So it's really strange.
One of my favorite lines from this one is at the beginning when she's like, yeah, I go to this lake every year. And they're just like, why? What reason do you have to go to this lake every year? It's like lots of people go to a camping site every year, and like it's for fun and enjoyment, but they like can't fathom why she would want to go there, and they make a big deal about how weird it is that she wants to go to a lake every year.
Weirdo recreational camping.
But it's kind of like they set it up like they were doing a day trip. It's not like anyone brought any like food or anything. They just had like a blanket. But yeah, there's not really much to say about that one except everyone dies and the acting is bad. But then after that one, flashes back to the house, the dead guy's back in the chair, but the other guy is gone, and then we go to the next tape, what is this one called?
This one's called The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger.
Yeah, like, what happened? They don't really explain it.
Yeah, what was the sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger?
Well, I mean,
said she might have hurt herself, like self-harm or something, but obviously it wasn't self-harm.
I thought it was like alien abduction.
No, because it sounded like, well, okay, this is kind of a confusing one. So it sets up that this woman Emily and her boyfriend are video chatting to each other. He's like at a convention or something, and she's in her apartment, and it's set up as like, oh, she's finding out her apartment's haunted, and that there's a bunch of like children and weird ghosts running around, and she's showing her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is a skeptic and like basically gaslighting her, saying like, it could just be something that you saw because you're psycho. What did he say at first? Did he allude to like something that he alluded to something that happened before, like the last time that they were apart, something happened
like 12
to her.
12 or something.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, how long have they been together? Like 20 years, and
I know
they're 30. Like,
I mean, I guess they're both in college. That was set up. Like they are both college students. So I guess like, but it seems like they have been childhood friends or something. And I guess they went to college apart from each other. But I mean, spoiler, they didn't like he's literally the apartment next door or something. He's in the building.
Yeah. So there's a weird gaslighting thing that happens where he's like, she's asking him if he recorded it, and he says no, and so it's obvious that he is.
Yeah, because we're watching
it. And also just kind of like sowing doubts and stuff and making her feel like she might be crazy. But yeah, then it's revealed that he's actually just like next door. and this is where it gets confusing, because it's like he comes in and she's unconscious for some reason.
Because there was like the two little kids who were like, she thought were ghosts. But there's like this bright light when the two little kids show up, and she like gets knocked unconscious, and then he comes in, and then they're like talking like they're aliens kind of, and he's giving them shit. He's like, how many more times do we have to do this, guys? Like, what? This is like half human baby. Okay, so he cuts her open and pulls like a fetus out. Like, it's not a full grown baby, but he pulls it out of her fucking rib cage, and which is pretty gross. And then he's like arguing with them. He's like, okay, so we have to do this a couple more times. I don't know how many more times she's going to take this. And they're like, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's, nice. And then, yeah, after that whole scene happens, they FaceTime again. He's like, oh, I have to make it look like someone, like, either broke in or she did this to herself or something or whatever. Well, so he like breaks her arm.
He tricks her into thinking that she had a psychotic break and she ran into the middle of the road and got hit by a car.
And she's beat up. Like, she's beat up. And she's like, yeah, they prescribed me. They said I'm schizoaffective and I'm on these pills. And he's like, okay, good. And she's like, yeah, it's just so weird. I guess this is like what happened. It's like what happened to me when I was younger. And then it flashes to him on FaceTime with another girl showing her tits. Who's like,
which I didn't understand, because if this is like a ploy, like he's secretly doing this to these women, he knew this girl since they were apparently like 12. Has he just been doing this long con since he was a child of like getting to know these women and tricking them into having alien babies?
I guess he's been involved with the alien. Maybe he is an alien. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of undercuts it, because the whole thing where it's like they had this long-term, friendship or relationship since they were kids. It's like, okay, so that's telling you that he's been grooming her for a long, long time. But then just some other lady shows up at the very last shot, and you're like, oh, okay, so I guess that's not important. Kind of undercuts that element of it, but
I mean, that whatever. Is the problem with like, there are some shorts that I have seen, like horror shorts, that do have a good setup, and like you get all the information that you need to be set up for whatever ending is going to happen. But like this tape number 4, like it's set up all the, like, it's a lot of talking. It seems like it's setting up a lot of stuff, and it's completely refuted by the end scene. So it's like, that is a problem with some types of shorts, that they just don't, they think they're going into detail that's going to be like, that's going to pay off, and it really doesn't. Like, we didn't need to know any of that shit. Like, we really didn't. Like, so I don't know.
I think there's elements of this one that are really good, and if it was a full length, like, maybe they could have done something cool with it. It just didn't quite pan out. And also I'm kind of confused about it. I don't really know what happened. So,
well, it's funny because the Night Swim started off as a short, and then they made it a full-length movie, and that was bad. So maybe if they actually did make if they made any of these a full-length movie, I would want The Last Tape to be a full-length movie. I really like that one. So we jump back to the house. Dead guy's gone again. The other guy who was watching the tape is gone. Now there's only 2 of them or there's only one of them left. He's running around trying to find his friends, and finds that Zach has his head cut off, and he's like, oh shit, and then he pans to the stairs and the dead guy runs at him and like unhinges his jaw and kills Gary. And then that's the end for all the criminals, and then it just cuts into the last tape, which is called 10/31/98. And I read on the IMDb that one of the guys is wearing like these certain type, like digital camo pants, and those didn't come out until 2001, 2002. So inaccurate. But it's Halloween with the guys. The guy who has the camera is a nanny cam, so he's like a teddy bear with a camera, and the actual camera, it's like it's recording. I just wanted to mention that when the tape said it was 9:43 p.m., it was also 9:43 p.m. when I was watching it, and I was like, I'm scared. But it's okay.
Wow.
Everything's fine. It was weird though. So then they're like on their way to a party, and they're like, is it down Mariposa Lane? Is it down this lane? They can't find it. All the streets have like M names. They're all very similar, and they're using a map because it's the 90s, obviously, and no one got a Garmin. And so they end up pulling up to the wrong house, which is funny because they see some guys that are going into another house, and I don't know, reasonable logic, I would probably follow the guys that I see going into another party rather than be like, oh, it's not that house, it's probably that other house. But you know, they did what they did, which I also like I don't really have a lot of complaints about this. They walk into the house, they try to get into the house, they can't get in, they go around the back, no one's in there, and they're like, oh, this must just be a haunted house and we have to find the party that's inside, which is funny. Like, it is objectively a funny thing for them to be like, yeah man, let's just get drunk and go through this haunted house. So they're walking through, and stuff is moved, there's a flickering light, and they're like, oh, this is good. And then a few of the guys go into a room and they run out, and there are hands coming out the wall and shit. I'd never seen that before. And you're kind of like, what the fuck? This seems weird. So then, they just explore the house. They see stuff that was downstairs, now it's upstairs. I don't know about you guys, but there's this one shot where it's the nanny cam guy and one of the other guys, and they're like, let's go scare Dylan or whatever. And when they're walking into the room, Dylan is just standing. And I guess it's set up that he's talking to the other guy, but the way he was standing was so creepy. It felt like he was possessed or something. I don't know. I that part scares me.
Yeah, that was actually very Blair Witch coded.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite parts of this short because it's so funny. He scares him and he freaks out, and then he pulls out this plastic sword from his costume and starts hitting his friend, and then his friend's like, ow, that actually kind of hurt, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And it felt so cute. It felt so wholesome.
They are good friends, and I like how, I mean, like Bryce said, they do know each other in real life, and they directed this, so it's it was probably easy for them to have this chemistry on screen.
I mean, it was pretty cool. The slow burn with this one was really effective because it's kind of showing you that it's haunted or something's wrong. It has the chair from the kitchen or something keep reappearing in weird places, and
that's the worst part. And
then
I'm
seeing,
oh my God.
I love that stuff where it's wait a minute, what? Something's out of place. That wasn't there. And then the the little girl showing up in reflections and stuff is all kind of boilerplate haunted house stuff. And then when it gets to the end, then it's just goes ham, and that's where it's really fun because they kind of hear voices and yelling, and it's they do really good with the sound because you can't tell if it's music or people having a good time or people arguing. And eventually they make their way upstairs into the attic, and they find oh no, it's some crazy preacher, and they've got this girl tied up,
but they think it's a bit, they think it's part of the haunted house,
right? Right, and then they realize it's not, and the guys are like angry that they're there, and they're trying to shoo them away. And then, is it then when it starts? No, they make their way all the way down to the front door and are about to leave, and then in typical horror movie fashion, the guy's like, "No, we can't leave her here." Oh no, that's right. It does go crazy because the guys in the attic that were like doing this ritual get like sucked into the ceiling, like sucked into the ether in a weird way. It was like,
and that's when they start running downstairs, and
right.
Then they have the moment where they're like, fuck, like we can't just leave that girl, she's tied up, she's probably being like tortured, like it seems like kind of like a weird exorcism kind of thing, but not really. So they do go back upstairs, they find a knife, and they're cutting her free as these guys are like, no, don't do this, she has Satan inside of her or something, like, you know, there's just a lot of yelling and a lot of dialogue being thrown around, and they're like, no, we gotta get her. So they grab her, and once they grab her is when like shit starts going nuts. So like full out like poltergeist shit. Like there's stuff flying out of cabinets, there's chairs being thrown around, there's vases being thrown at the wall, and then they go to the front door, and I thought of Skinamarink when the doors started like closing and the doorknobs started disappearing and all the windows started shutting. I was like, oh my god.
But it looked way cooler than how Skinamarink did it.
Yeah.
Like the door just like gets absorbed by the wall, and in Skinamarink it's like it's there, and then in the next shot it's not, and it's like, okay, that it's almost confusing what happens in Skinamarink.
Oh, sorry, it froze for me for a second.
Doesn't it have like? Didn't Skinamarink have like corny sound effects when stuff like didn't just go like pop?
I don't really remember.
And then the doorknob's gone. I'm certainly not going to watch it again. But yeah, I mean that kind of stuff. Like, Have you guys ever read House of Leaves? Have I talked about that book?
I tried to. One of my friends is super into that book, and he was like, try to do it if you can. And so I got it from the library, and I started reading it. And once I started having to literally decode messages in a notebook was when I was like, this is so much work. And like, it was good, and I think I was scared as fuck while I was reading it, but like I couldn't get through it because I was like, this is a lot of like actual homework, and I can't.
Yeah, I think like I've got this attitude when reading books that it's like I just steam through if I'm not understanding stuff. It's also the reason why I can never retain any like character names, or like it's just like I'm just gonna like steamroll through it and retain as much as I can. But that book is like 90% style and 10% like actual plot.
Yeah,
but
yeah. The
style adds to the plot, kind of. But yeah, that book is basically all about this what do you call it? It's like liminal space horror, where it's, you know, walls that are longer than they should be, or doors that disappear, or hallways that get longer or shorter.
It's really scary.
And it's like really off-putting, and it's a cool thing, and I don't think anyone's ever really done a full horror movie on it. Maybe someone can like leave a voicemail and tell us if there's anyone that's been done. But Skinamarink was trying to do that.
Liminal space is a big thing in horror video games right now. Like, everyone's trying to do something with it, and I think it's really cool. It's very fun.
And there's a movie that A24 is producing about the Backrooms YouTube series, and they're using the director of the YouTube videos, who's like a 20-year-old kid, which is fucking awesome. And those YouTube videos, if you haven't checked them out, they're called Backrooms.
They're really cool.
They're really cool. They're really effective, and that plays into the whole liminal space thing. It definitely creeps you out. So I'm excited. There's no name for or release date or anything. They're probably working on it now. But
Bryce, have your kids played Shrek in the Backrooms on Roblox?
What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they've. What's the one?
You said they play Doors. They
play Doors. What's the other one that they always mention? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up on their Roblox.
Shrek in the Backrooms is this hilarious game that me and my friends played one night, and it's the Backrooms, but Shrek is chasing you. And you have to get out of there, but there's like multiple layers of the Backrooms, and you like find an exit, and it takes you to like a McDonald's where it's like an infinite McDonald's that you can't get out of, and Ronald McDonald is chasing you. It's actually really
McDonald's. Fun. Have you read that Reddit post?
No.
Oh my God! There's an infinite. Okay, it's so good. It's like a paradox kind of thing where it's like if there was a universe that was just infinite McDonald's, and you put every single animal on Earth in there, would they survive? Like, it's a fully stocked McDonald's. There's no workers, or there are workers. I don't know. I would have to find the Reddit post, but it's like there's infinitely stocked. Like, there's food in every single one. Like every single animal, fish, everything that's on Earth. Like, how long would they survive, and who would survive? Like, at the end. Like, and it's so. I had like a 2-hour conversation with one of my friends about it. Like, it was fun. Like, it's a really good one to talk about. I'll find it for the after pod, and we can discuss it if you want. But yeah, so I think that might be based on a Reddit post, which is really cool.
Nice.
All right.
So like at the end, they're like running through, and it gets really crazy with like the doors closing up and feeling trapped, and then birds flying through, and then the arms reaching through the walls are super effective. There's something about arms reaching through walls
that's scary.
Is scary and isn't used enough.
But they do get out of the house. They go through the basement. And find a way to get out, like through a window or something. And they get in the car, and they're like, just find the nearest hospital on a map. And they made a point at the beginning of the video that they were stuck with a train coming, and they were like, oh, we're going to be late for the party or something. They end up back on the train tracks. The girl disappears and then reappears outside of the car, which is a jump scare that works so good, so well. And then they realize that the car's stalling, they can't get out. It's locked, and they're trying to unlock it, and then a train comes, and that's the end of the movie. It just says VHS on the screen, and it's really fucking good. It was a really good one, and I also read on IMDb that there's an alternate ending where they do survive. That's available to watch, but I don't know. I think it works the way that it is.
No, it's good. I mean, again, this is like one of the best ones. It's probably the best executed out of all of them.
100%.
Yeah. I still like the amateur night just because it's the funnest ending. Like, in terms of just a crazy demon flying off with some dude. Just tickles me just right. I'm
also glad the other girl survived in the first one. Yeah.
But this one is definitely the best one out of all of them, I think.
Yeah. So
it's not hard to be the best out of if they're all trash. That's what I have to say about that.
Well, I know that you guys probably wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone, but I think, like I said in the review, that it would be like, I think it's a good like starter to an anthology. If you're trying to get into anthologies, I think this would be a good one to get into. But I don't know. I love this movie. I know you guys didn't, but I think it's mostly nostalgia, but I really like it. Not all of it is effective. Some of them suck, but all in all, I was creeped out, and I probably will watch this again.
I mean, I always like to recommend movies that I feel like are influential, or like, you know, if you love horror movies, you should probably watch all the ones that everyone talks about. And This is one that's talked about a lot, so if you haven't seen it, just give it a watch. It's not great, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's if you like anthology series, I guess. I mean, there's probably better ones, but you know, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right. Do you want to get into the game?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So I kind of modeled this based on when I did, like, I think the first episode that me and Bryce recorded was like the quotes of the horror movies, and you have to guess what movie it's from. I saw some comments that they liked that, so this is kind of a variation on that. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a quote or a tagline to a horror movie that was like on the poster when it premiered, and you're gonna have to guess which movie it is, and we're gonna span like decades. So, you ready?
Wait, how do we win? How do we get points?
Just guess the name of the movie.
Do I have to guess before Bryce? Or are we a team?
Oh, yeah. So just, do what we usually do, where it's like, shout out your name, and then I'll be like, oh, you got it first. And then you'll get a point. And there's not really any way to get extra points in this, so.
Oh, also, I want to say...
Here's our intro music.
Welcome to the game show, where we're bringing the heat. Tag 9 fever, gotta guess what beats. We got catchy phrases, and we got some wit. Gotta think fast, don't miss a single thing. Tag 9 fever, let the games begin. Can you guess the slogan? Can you crack the code? Yeah. Tag 9 fever, feel the adrenaline. Get ready to try it out. Let the tagline explode.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was awesome.
Nice.
I do want to say before we start that when I did my game on the last episode, it may sound weird in the thing, because we do it based on who says their name first, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my ears, Bryce kept saying his name first, but in the recording, Sydney kept saying her name first, so I think there was just a lag. And so in the actual episode, it's like Sydney says her name first, and I'm like, Bryce, give it to me. So sorry about that if that was confusing.
Misogyny, it's okay.
Can't let the
she
woman
deals
win.
with it every day.
No, it's fine. I really like that game, and I would love to play that again.
Great.
All right, let's get into it. So this is the first tagline. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
Oh, I know this one.
Max.
Okay, Max.
I'm going to go Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
No. Sorry.
Okay, Bryce.
Okay, Bryce.
I'm going to say... Was this Slither?
No, it's not.
Wait,
so
I have another guess.
Okay.
Can I go again?
Sure.
Is it Silence of the Lambs?
No.
No. That's too corny for Silence of the Lambs.
So the thing is that when I was reading these, I was like, these will be impossible to guess because this could be about anything. And this, I think, is unexpected. It is the 1974 Black Christmas.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, that's right. I knew it was going to be like an actual classic one.
Yeah, isn't that
is like...
crazy? Because it just does. Yeah. There's nothing about skin really in that movie, but you know. All right. I'll do a couple from like the 70s, 80s, and then move on to newer ones like 90s, 2000s. So okay, next one. Who will survive, and what will be left of them?
I have no idea.
Bryce.
Okay.
Running Man.
No.
Okay, Max.
Max?
The Hills Have Eyes.
No, but close. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre original. 1974. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Man is the warmest place to hide.
Man is the warmest place to hide?
Yes.
That's gross.
Do you want a hint?
Bryce.
Okay. Bryce. Sorry.
Alien.
No, but...
No, I actually know the tagline for Alien, but...
In space, no one can hear you scream.
It would be apropos, because, you know...
Is it Predator?
No, but that's also a good guess. It's The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh, that one actually makes sense.
It does. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go 90s.
Okay.
2000s. Everything you've heard is true.
Ooh. Okay, wait. What is it?
Oh.
I'm thinking it's...
Oh.
Okay, Max.
Okay.
The Blair Witch Project.
Yes! Good job!
It is? Oh, damn. That was like my first reaction. I was like, no, I don't remember that. Wasn't there a movie that was just urban legends? Just about urban legends?
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. I don't remember the name, but yeah.
But, all right, congrats, Max.
Yeah, okay, so 1 point for Max. All right. Okay, we'll go this one. Pray, slay, display. It's so stupid.
Okay, and we're back. So pray, slay, and display.
I'll give you a hint. Pray is spelled like Prey.
Oh. Doesn't help.
Okay. I feel like this is a zombie movie.
I'm going to say Bryce.
Okay.
The Hunger Games.
No.
I have no idea.
I really have no idea. I don't even have a guess. I have no idea.
Well, it's The House of Wax, 2005.
No. Yeah. I love that movie.
Oh, man. We even mentioned that
Jared
movie.
Padalecki.
I know.
The key was display. I'm like, what horror movie do they display their victims? I couldn't come up with one.
Yeah, you don't. It's like that's what I'm saying is like these taglines are so strange. Like they could really fit a lot of movies or they don't fit any and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? All right, I'll do a couple more and
okay. Maybe I can pull it out.
Yeah, we're 1-0 right now. Okay. Every rose has its thorns.
I've heard this one.
You'll know it. Maybe.
Every rose has its
Bryce.
thorns.
Okay, Bryce.
Species.
Nope.
Can.
This is after House of Wax.
Every rose has its thorns.
Thorns being the operative word.
So
plural.
Starring Rose McGowan.
What movie has thorns?
Well, could be metaphorical.
I don't.
I thought Species was a good guess, I gotta say.
That is a good guess. It is. But, Max, you want to say anything or you want me to reveal it?
Just reveal it. I have no idea.
Teeth.
I've never seen Teeth, so that was
okay.
That was a tough one.
That's fair. But yeah, every rose, vagina can be referred to as a flower, and thorns being that she has teeth in there. Spoilers for Teeth.
Ew.
All right. Let's do... Sorry. Okay. What's in that picture? What's in that picture? I did not know this was the tagline to this. Go ahead.
Is it Pulse?
No.
Bryce.
Okay.
Shutter.
Nope.
I don't know.
Oh,
this
wait, I have another
weird.
guess.
Okay.
Is it Sinister?
No, but you're close.
Wait, I have another guess.
Okay.
Is it Insidious 2?
No.
Is it Insidious?
Yes, Bryce, it's Insidious.
Yay!
I thought it was the second one because it has a lot more to do with the storyline of the pictures. So
yes, and I agree with you, and I think this is a stupid tagline for this movie because you see like a picture twice in it, and like it doesn't really like some of the like. But it's funny because the Babadooks one is you can't get rid of the Babadook, so I can't give you guys that one.
You should have included that one.
That would be hilarious.
All right, do you want to do one more?
Then? Let's do one more for a tiebreaker.
We'll do one more for a tiebreaker. Okay. Just because you're invited doesn't mean you're welcome.
Max.
Okay.
The Invitation.
No, but that's a good guess.
Just because you're invited doesn't mean you're welcome.
And I've been doing, like, I started in the 70s, and now I'm, like, all the way up to recent.
Max. The Menu.
No, but good guess again.
Gosh, I'm at a blank.
No guesses, Bryce?
The Witch.
Nope.
I don't know.
Get Out.
Get Out. Oh, okay. All right.
See, these are hard.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
It's really fucking weird. Like, I did not know. Also, I'm using a website called liveabout.com, so they could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I was very shocked with these.
Yeah, we should go back through the list and like come up with what we think the tagline should have been.
Yes.
You know, like Get Out would have been white people be tripping.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Anyway.
For Black Christmas, it should have been like the call is coming from inside the house or something.
Right.
But that would give away the plot. But
well, we tied, Bryce.
Good
that
job,
was a beautiful way to end it.
It's a draw. Yeah.
You both are winners to me in my heart.
Or losers.
Or
Either
losers.
way.
Whatever you want to be. But yeah, so this was the VHS episode. We were very divided on this one, but I do like being divided because it's fun to argue. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to the new patrons again. We really appreciate it. And head on over to patreon.com/horrormovietalk if you want all that bonus content. We love having you. We want more of you. We want all of you. Don't forget to share with whoever you want to share this podcast with. We love you all. We appreciate you for listening. And don't forget to call because we'd love to hear your voices. 682-253-4468. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir. You lose. You get nothing. Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
I just took a stroll through the scraggly woods.
He had no face.
Horror!
Wow, that didn't sound good.